Hey, and welcome to Board with Life News for February 1st. Today I'm going to talk about Bear Park, Dice Forge, PAX Unplugged, and the Kickstarter for Alien Frontiers. Let's get to it. Hey, I'm Chris. Welcome to Board with Life News. Up first, Bear Park is a new game coming out from Lookout Spiel, designed by Phil Walker-Harding. Phil Walker-Harding is one of my favorite kind of light game designers. He did Sushi Go, Cacao, Imhotep that was nominated for the Spiel des Jahres last year. Really good kind of lightweight Euro stuff. So I'm excited about this one. Bear Park is a tile placement game using polyminos, which are like polyminos, I don't know how to say it, but they're like the Tetris-shaped tiles that you'd see in Patchwork and things like that. And in them, you're trying to design the best bear park, which I didn't know that was a thing, but basically taking tiles of different shapes and putting them on your board to, have the nicest bear park and feed all your guests and things like that. It seems like a pretty lightweight tile laying game. I really like polyminos, and I really like tile laying games, and I really like Phil Walker-Harding, so this is a no-brainer for me. Pretty excited about it. Asmodee announced Dice Forge. This is designed by Regis Bonnesse. He designed Seasons, another very popular dice game, so I'm sure a lot of people will be interested in this one. This is a dice crafting game, and that means basically you get dice, and you can snap on different sides, so you can change what your dice do. This isn't the first time a game has come out with the dice crafting idea, but I imagine this will be one of the bigger ones, considering the designer and the publisher and things like that. It's an idea that pretty much every game designer I know has a dice crafting idea, but I think it's been sort of prohibitively expensive, or fiddly, or fragile, I don't know. So hopefully this kind of catches on and we can see some more people playing around with this idea. We got news of PAX Unplugged this past week. PAX is Penny Arcade Expo, the very, very, very popular video game convention that has more recently kind of been adding in some tabletop elements to it. Well, they have announced PAX Unplugged, which is very exciting because this is a PAX specifically for board games. It's going to be in Philadelphia on November 17th through 19th. So, while that's very exciting, it turns out November 17th through 19th is the exact same time as BGG-Con, another very popular convention. PAX has said that they don't plan on this being the date every year, it's just a new convention, so that's when they could get the convention hall, so they're going to try to not have them conflict in future years, so that's really good. This is disappointing for me. I'm going to go to BGG-Con this year just because it's my favorite convention to just play games at and meet people and network and all that kind of stuff. And as a designer who pitches games, it's a little bit tough because I imagine PAX is probably going to be the better convention for publishers to go to if they're trying to sell a lot of product, because BGG-Con, you're not selling a ton of games, there's only a couple thousand people there, but BGG-Con is kind of more of a tastemakers convention, where if you're trying to get something to catch on for next year, that's kind of where you want to do it. So I imagine it'll split the publishers a little bit, and as a person who pitches games at BGG-Con, it sucks not having all the major publishers there if that does indeed happen, because I won't have everyone I can pitch to. But ultimately, in future years, I'm very excited about PAX Tabletop. It brings in kind of a slightly different audience than a lot of the other board game conventions, and yeah, so very exciting stuff there. This week's Kickstarter is for Alien Frontiers. Alien Frontiers is actually one of the first big Kickstarter successes when it came to board games. It came out 5 or 6 years ago, and it's also one of my favorite games. It's in my top 5 favorite games. They are kickstarting the, I think, 5th edition of this game. It's going to come with a new cover, a redesigned board. It's a dice placement game, and it's my favorite dice placement game, where you're kind of building spaceships, and your spaceships are dice, and you can destroy them, and then there's this area control element, and everything's fits together really, really well. So if you haven't played this game, you should definitely play this game. It's great. The Kickstarter also includes, you can get promo packs, you can get the different factions, expansions, things like that, and it is $47 right now on Kickstarter, so I highly recommend that game if you don't have it, so go back that. Alright, that's the news for this week. Thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, as well as follow me on social media. I'm at Chris Bryan Games on Instagram and Twitter. You can stay up to date with all the board gaming news and everything that's happening there, so good ideas there. Also, I run a Patreon, and that's how I am able to do this, so if you appreciate these videos, I would very much appreciate if you could throw me $1 a month or something like that, because that lets me do these things. This week's question comes from @TitaniumHog, and they ask, I've just started a lunchtime board games club. Can you recommend any games with a bit of depth? Yeah, so the criteria I gave myself for this is it needs to play in certainly under 45 minutes, set up and play in 45 minutes, ideally 30 minutes, have an easy setup, quick breakdown, all that kind of stuff. So, first up is Flamme Rouge, of course, because you want any game recommendation. Flamme Rouge is going to be on it. If you're unfamiliar with it, Flamme Rouge is a cycling racing game that uses a kind of deck thinning, deck building mechanic. It's very, very simple, very fast playing, but has a lot of strategic depth. Race for the Galaxy has a ton of depth, and you can keep adding in expansions forever if you want more and change that game up. It's very quick playing, so definitely Race for the Galaxy. Dominion's an old standby that I can play another 1,000 times, and it will never get old for me. So I really like Dominion. It's a very easy kind of thing. You can like have your cards in one hand and sort of still talk and eat some food, and it's not too, I don't know, doesn't take up, I guess it takes up a good amount of space. I don't know what I was saying with that. Dominion, you should play Dominion. And Fairy Tale, which is a drafting game from a couple years back that I think would be really good as well. It's pretty quick playing. It's simple, but has a lot of strategic depth and also has kind of an expansion you can add in to get kind of more variety in that game. So those are my recommendations for that, for lunchtime games. I don't play lunchtime games, so I don't know if they're any good. Like, I don't know if I'm missing a criteria, like you don't want things in your hands most of the time. So in that case, Race for the Galaxy's bad, Dominion's bad, and Fairy Tale are bad, but Flamme Rouge, play Flamme Rouge. All right, thanks so much for tuning in, and I will see you next week.